Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Thank you for joining us today. Here is a small attempt by us on this World Arthritis Day. As you all might be aware, we have the World Arthritis Day is celebrated on October 12th every year. Okay, the idea behind celebrating or the intention of the World Arthritis Day is to create an awareness among the people about arthritis and also to ease the pain or the suffering of those who are already having the problem. So here is a small attempt by us to create an awareness amongst all of you about arthritis and maybe a few exercises we can teach you which can help you in leading a healthy life. Okay, so before we start, a small introduction. This is Sunanda here. I am a physiotherapist. With me, we have Vijay Balaji, my friend and my partner.
Hello, everyone.
We together formed the Growing Young Senior Wellness Company about 5 years back. And with this pandemic, we believe that it is very important for the seniors to remain active in a very tough situation that all of us are facing. And that is how our live sessions became online. And we're very proud to say that we have more than 125 people coming to us today, as of now, from across India and a few from different parts of the country, different parts of the world as well. So this is a small introduction about us. So we are a senior wellness company and we are both postgraduate physiotherapists. And we believe that physical activity is the most important thing to keep yourself active. Not only active, when you're active, you're also going to be independent. Everybody dreams of an independent life, right? Right through our lifetime, all that we want is an independent life. And that is one main way of achieving it is through physical activity. That is our strong belief, and we have found this amongst our seniors as well. Okay, so there are a lot of people say, I'm already too old, so can I start exercising? How is it going to even have an impact? Our answer to this question is any time is a good time to start your exercise program. You're 30, you start. You're 40, you start. You're 50, you start. If you're 80, you please start.
So how many of you are believing that, it is right to do exercises after, the age of 55 plus? Can you please give a thumbs up?
Yes. Before we proceed, a kind request to switch on your videos. You would like to, see your lovely faces.
Program. So please switch on your video. We can make this as a, interactive program. Thank you.
So thank you. We don't want this to be we talking and you listening. We want it to be interactive. We want you to interact with us. We want you to question us. That's how we want. Please switch on your videos. So let's have a fun and an interactive session.
After some time, okay?
Oh, okay, Kanchana ma'am.
So how many of you believe that, exercises, will be beneficial for you even after the 60 years of age? Please give a thumbs up. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. How many of you are doing it in your daily practice?
See, in that question, when Sunanda mentions daily, doing the exercises means it should be at least half an hour continuous exercises, right? Without the break. And at least you should feel, the little pump up of activity in your heart. It's not a very light activity, right? Like that. How many of you are doing at least the continuous half an hour of moderate activity? Please give a thumbs up.
Okay, yes, that's a good number. So we're really happy to note that you're all you have the liking towards exercise and you want to do it, right? So that is the first step. When we want to do a change, the first thing is accepting the problem and then fighting it out, finding a way to fight it out. And that one way is exercise. So if you ask me, I would say exercise is the best pill that is known to humankind. For any disease for that matter, it is the best pill that is known to humankind. So we want you to all take up this pill every day. One medicine that you can safely take it up every day, anytime. Okay. So yeah. So before we proceed, as I told you, we are doing this Growing Young program, which is an online fitness program exclusively designed for the senior citizens. So 55 plus, we believe it's the right age to exercise, and more than any other age, it is very important that we exercise at that moment. It has multiple benefits, and that's how we started this issue. And okay, let's talk about today's topic, right? Understanding and managing arthritis. We all know arthritis is a very, very common, most common problem in the world. About one in four is affected by arthritis. There are different types of arthritis, out of which the most common that almost every household has is the osteoarthritis. That is the arthritis which is otherwise called as a degenerative arthritis, and affects the knee of many women post menopause. Right. So all of us, the post menopause, we would have experienced this knee pain or a knee stiffness.
Video stopped.
We would have experienced this issue. So here, when we are talking about arthritis, the most important aspect about arthritis is how we understand the disease and what do we sense about it. That is more important than anything else. So how do we adjust, accommodate the disease and try to fight is very, very important. So most of our patients or, our clients, what we see, when the acceptance and dealing with the problem is better, the disease is much, much under control. Most of the time when somebody, takes up an X-ray and finds it is arthritis, the first thing that, happens is they decide, nothing can be done. It is going to progress. It's an old age problem. Everybody has this. So these are the assumptions that all of us have, right? So it is very important that these assumptions are broken and we carry the right facts in our mind to keep ourselves healthy. Okay. So another most important, Vijay, can you speak with doctor?
He is ready, Sunanda. He is ready here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have, so before we proceed, I would like to make an introduction of today's presenter, Dr. Subramania Gandhi. Yes, are you ready?
Good evening. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you
a minute,
for
sir.
the opportunity, first of all, both of you, ma'am, Dr. Vijay and Dr. Sunanda, initiative.
Yeah, sir, just 1 minute.
Sunanda,
I'll mute one other device.
Just mute other people also. Yeah.
Okay. So here is a brief introduction about Dr. Subramania Gandhi. So Dr. Subramania Gandhi is a very young, dynamic orthopedic surgeon. He has completed his MS in orthopedics almost 5 years back and completed his fellowship in limb lengthening and deformity correction. He has also done a fellowship in fracture and complex trauma from the Institute of Ganga Hospitals in Coimbatore. And not just that, he has also done his limb reconstruction surgery from Bangalore. He is currently working with the Kamakshi Memorial Hospital, Pallikaranai, and also with the MMS Hospital in Ayapanthangal. And he is an assistant professor of Sri Balaji Medical College and Hospital from Chennai. We are really, really happy and we feel it's very prestigious to have such a young and dynamic doctor with us who will be able to take us through the medical part of arthritis with us. And he will be able to clarify and give us the right, guidance about arthritis and, the perceptions of arthritis. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you for the good, brief, excellent introduction about osteoarthritis first and about me. Thank you, ma'am. So I have a small technical glitch. I'll be talking through you through the phone and I'll be connecting the presentation through a laptop. So hope I'm audible first of all.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as we all know, the month October 12th is considered to be the World Arthritis Day. And as a topic for today is going to be the one of the most prevalent orthopedic condition in the world, secondary to cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and hypertension. The amount of hospitalization due to arthritis, that is mostly to knee, is very common, and one of the largest performed surgeries in the field of orthopedics is osteoarthritis knee, and we all know about it. At least one person in our family above the age of 40 or 50 most probably will be affected by an early stage of arthritis at least. And we are going to mainly cover about how it happens and how to prevent. So as we all know, prevention is better than cure. So we are going to go through the basics so that it will be more like at the end of the presentation, both from my side and from Dr. Vijay and Dr. Sunanda's side, you'll have a clear idea about how it is going to happen and how to prevent it. I think now we can go on to the presentation, ma'am.
Yes, sir. You can share your screen. I'll give you a permission to share the screen.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Have you requested?
1 minute. Host has disabled the participants.
Yeah, just place a request. I will accept it, sir.
I'm in the name of Dr. Subramania Gandhi.
Sir, actually, in one of your device, please disconnect the audio. Maybe in the laptop, please disconnect the audio so that it will not be interacted.
Okay.
You can share it now, sir.
Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So going on to the brief introduction about arthritis, one of my most vigilant professor, as you all know, Dr. Vijay C. Bose sir, used to tell, compare our knee to a tire of the car, a new tire of the car. So you can see how a new tire of the car is polished and how smooth it is. Similarly, everybody of us, unless otherwise a congenital problem, a birth problem is present, most of us have a good articular cartilage and the anatomy of the knee structure. So a normal knee has a good joint space, a good lubrication. When due to some circumstances, when we are not going to go through a proper maintenance of the knee, like how do you maintain a car, it is going to go for a wear and tear, which at last goes in for a unreplaceable or unrepairable damage, which leads to surgeries. So now we are going to just go through how to prevent it. So what is an arthritis? So arthritis is nothing but an inflammation, a local inflammation into a particular part of a joint. So the left side shows a normal joint where all the structures are being in a non-inflammatory state. The normal structures of a knee joint is a synovial fluid, which is the lubrication, which is like a jelly, which gives a more lubrication part between the femur, that is a thigh bone, and the leg bone, that is called tibia. And when there is an inflammation due to the degenerative changes, like arthritis is kind of degenerative, which happens due to the wear and tear due to old age, there will be an inflamed synovium, which leads to a leakage of inflammatory markers into the joint and depletes the articular cartilage. Now, for a better understanding, I would just like to share with you a small video. So among the arthritis to the knee joint is the most common. One minute. So there are three different stages: mild, moderate, and severe, depending upon the amount of wear of the knee joint. So the white color layer is called the articular cartilage. The above bone, thigh bone, is the femur, and the below bone is the tibia. The inside lubrication is called synovial fluid, which is like a jelly or oil. So this is how a normal articular cartilage is. It's white in structure, which gives a smooth layer to have a good movements for mobilization of the knee. This is a type of a healthy knee. What happens, it has a smooth articular cartilage. There will be no breaks or no fissuring in the bone. The synovial fluid, as I told, would help it in the lubrication and prevent the friction and arthritis. The normal knee range of motion is from 0 to 160 degrees. When there is a damage to the bone cartilage or there is a depletion in the articular synovial fluid, you can see a small cracks which are happening in the knee joint. Due to this, when there is a complete knee movements, it will be rubbing against each other because the synovial fluid will get depleted. There will be small breaks in the bone. This is a very mild stage and there will be extra bone growth. This is called osteophytes. Due to the bone rubbing against each other, new bones will be forming in the sites. This is called osteophytes. This is at the stage of mild osteoarthritis. So at this stage, patient complains of pain mainly while climbing stairs, mainly while sitting cross-legged or sitting in the chair for a long time and getting up. This is the main complaints with which the patient starts with. When he walks for a long distance or climbs stairs or sitting cross-legged or sitting in the chair for 2 to 3 hours or watching a movie for 2 to 3 hours, and after that getting up, he will complain of pain. This is the important presentation in the case of mild osteoarthritis. In this stage, main treatment will be increased exercises, which will be covered and which will be told about the importance about the exercises and weight loss program. So when at this stage, if the patient is not being addressed properly or not being taken care of properly, he might move on to the progress to the next stage, which is a stage of moderate osteoarthritis, where the articular cartilage, there are more damages, like you can see here. The cartilage will be depleted and the underlying bone will be exposed. This will be causing more pain in the night time when the patient goes for bed. When the muscle relaxes, there will be loss of elasticity and there will be a total pain in the night. The patient will not be able to sleep. Due to the cartilage damage, the underlying bone will get exposed. You can see now the osteophytes have developed in the articular, below the articular cartilage also. This is the inflammatory process which takes place and release cytokines, which are inflammatory markers, and cause more depletion. This is the stage where patient, if he's walking more than a kilometer, the patient will complain of pain. This is the next progressive stage. And mostly this type of pain is present in the night time or in the evenings. When the patient gets in the morning, he will be brisk. Whereas in the case of rheumatoid arthritis, mainly the patient will have early morning pain. In case of osteoarthritis, the patient's pain complaints will be mainly in the evening or in the night time. When after a day full of work, he'll complain mainly in the pain in the evenings. So you can see the osteophytes may grow in number and grow in size because more amount of friction will be there. And you can see the smooth movement which was present early will become very like going in a very bad road. It will be completely painful for the patient when you do more amount of flexion, more than just 90 degrees. So at this stage, when the patient comes to you, mostly we will be just weight reduction and exercises are not enough. Along with that, to relieve the pain, some painkillers need to be given for a period of less than 2 weeks. Sometimes the pain is not subsiding with the pain tablets, also pain medication or anti-inflammatory medication. We will advise the patient to go in for a hyaluronic acid injection. That is, artificially we'll inject the fluid into the joint, or we can do PRP, platelet-rich plasma injections. These are the two latest innovations in the field of arthritis. Earlier, we used to give steroid injections, but now it's completely getting ceased because of its various side effects of the steroid direct injection. So this is a stage of moderate osteoarthritis. So still the patient is not being addressed. He might develop onto the stage of severe or advanced osteoarthritis, where there will be no gap between the two bones. It will be lying down one over the other, like kissing each other. The articular cartilage will be completely damaged and it will be filled with osteophytes. A mild movement of just 20 to 30 degrees, the patient will not be able to move more than that. The degradation of the bone, it cannot be returned back to its normal level, whatever medication you take at this stage. So at this stage, it is the end stage of arthritis where the patient will not be able to walk. His daily activity of living and his quality of life will be completely debilitated. And at this stage, we might need to address the patient by doing some surgical procedure. By doing surgery, we need to evaluate regarding it, what type of surgery has to be done. So I think this was a small brief introduction about osteoarthritis in a small video. Now coming on to our presentation. So what are the main types of arthritis? Is present in two types. First will be primary. Primary is more commonly present, that is due to the age. As we age for around 40 to 50 years elder, the younger age, at the younger time, whatever sports activity or whatever we be doing for the initial 40 years will not have much of a problem. The side effects or the effects of the earlier activity will be shown in the later stage of 40s, in the fourth decade of life. The primary arthritis is something which doesn't have a cause. The arthritis directly happens, whereas secondary is following a secondary problem, the arthritis develops. What is the types of secondary arthritis? Following a fracture in the knee joint. If the fracture surgery is not properly done and there is some bumps in the knee joint and it is made anatomically, it is not structured normally, then that might lead to a arthritis problem. Second will be congenital or hereditary. Sometimes congenitally, the shape of the bone will be malaligned, which leads to arthritis in the early 30s itself. And finally, the common time of arthritis, which we see secondary to osteoarthritis, is rheumatoid arthritis, which we normally would have heard about. So rheumatoid or gouty arthritis can also lead to development of damage like this. Arthritis can be developed due to that. These are the common cause of secondary osteoarthritis. So what are the risk factors? How will it come to me, doctor, if you ask me? Some of the predisposing factors for osteoarthritis is genetics. Some people might be less weight, but they might have arthritis. This have been found to be during the article study, the genetic correlation of your parents or anybody in your family having, there is a chance how the detailed diabetes or hypertension, there is a genetic correlation for presence of osteoarthritis first, and commonly seen in the age group of more than 50 years. Now commonly due to the lifestyle modification, we are able to see in a younger age group at the age of 35 also, which is not good for our population. And the third is found to be in female predominance. Why doctor female is having? The female predominance is mainly due to the post-menopausal osteoporosis. Post-menopausal, the calcium secretion will be very less, which leads to the patient's more female predominance because of the osteoarthritis. Since the calcium production is very less, the bones become weak. Since the bones are weak, the articular cartilage takes more load, and this leads to the early depletion. Compared to the male, the female will have a more presentation of osteoarthritis. And fourthly, having an unhealthy lifestyle like improper diet or obese patients. So what are the factors which you see in the X-ray, or what will happen is The patient will have an abnormal joint shape. We'll go in further in the next slide. They might have a previous injury which might lead to the bone fractures or any injury which might lead to osteoarthritis because of the muscle weakness. There will be occupational factors for some workers like policemen or who have a long strenuous activity like working in roadways or railways. These people sometimes having a strenuous activity, there are chance of early osteoarthritis. As I already told, what is bone mineral density, doctor? When there is a reduction of calcium and potassium secretion in the body, automatically this leads to the weakening of the bones. Once the bone weakens, it leads to a malalignment in the knee joint and causes osteoarthritis. These are some of the risk factors. So some of the changes which you cannot change at all is genetically, I cannot change my parents. So that cannot be done. The second is age. Age I cannot change. What female predominance, that also I cannot change. What is in my hands to change is healthy diet and to control of the obesity. So just a brief, I don't want to go into depth. So you can compare between the each X-rays in stage 1 how it is, stage 2 how it is, stage 3 and stage 4. In stage 4, stage 1, the joint space, the black color gap between the two bones is maintained. Not much of reduction is present, no osteophytes, that is no new bone formation. In stage 2, you can see a mild narrowing of the joint space. In stage 3, the joint space is significantly reduced with osteophyte new bone formation. And in stage 4, it is called kissing stage, where the bone sits one over the other, causing complete pain in flexion movements. What are the common presentation of the patient? The patient will have pain, as I already told, the pain is more commonly present in the evening or night, because once the patient gets up in the morning, he will not complain of pain. Because after a period of rest, the osteoarthritis related pain will subside. After activity, that is whole morning or afternoon, when the patients keep walking or doing some activity, in the evening, once he returns home or once in the night when he's going to go to bed, he will have pain. This is a classical presentation of osteoarthritis. Joint stiffness. Compared to the unaffected limb, the affected limb, the patient will not have a free movement. He will have some difficulty in movements. Third will be, as I told, sleep disturbance, because when you are awake, these muscles will be in a contracted state. You will actively know this is going to cause pain and you will maintain. But when you sleep down, the muscles will get relaxed. Because of this, the bone comes into contact and cause more pain in the night time. Some of the patients, when they have a prolonged pain duration, this knee pain for a period of more than 6 months, they'll go in for mild depression, because it will not be whatever treatment they take. If the proper remedy is not given to them, they will not feel positively attitude, and they'll have a severe functional disability. That is, day-to-day activities will be severely affected. Like the patient cannot stand and cook for a long time. They cannot just go out with their friends for shopping or anything. These will be mentally affecting them. So on examination, when we orthopedics or when we examine the patient, mostly we will be seeing the pain pertaining to the knee joint. There will be a mild swelling, because there will be mild oozing of fluid from the knee joint because of inflammation. The swelling will be present. The range of movements, which I told, normal is extension is 0 to 160 degrees of movement will be present. In case of arthritis, the range of movements will be reduced. Crepitus. Crepitus is nothing but two bones rubbing to each other. Because the synovial fluid is reduced, the bones start rubbing. You can hear it. The classical patients, they come and tell us, sir, I'm able to hear some crick, crick sound when I move the knee. So in between, if you have any doubt, please feel free to stop me. If I'm going in a hurry, if I'm going in a if you are not able to understand, please feel free to stop me and you can ask your doubts in between itself. And fourth, what will be the presentation is patient will have wasting. What is wasting? How do you measure wasting, doctor? So you take an inch tape today, you measure in the mid thigh, in the thigh level, you divide the thigh into mid half. That level, use a inch tape and measure your circumference, that is the girth of the thigh. Compare both the sides. The affected side, there will be a minimum around 1 to 2 inches of reduction in the girth. This is first test or parameter which we do to know the chronicity. That is, chronicity is how long the problem is. Second, if the patient just sees both the sides, compare just by himself, comparing it in a mirror, he will obviously tell my affected limb, the thigh size has reduced, doctor, because you will not be using the affected leg much. Since the affected limb is causing more pain, you will not try to weight bear in that leg. So that is the reason why the pain will, muscle wasting will be present. What is the fifth reason? There will be mild deformity also. So I'll be showing some photos. In end stage, the arthritis will lead to deformity of the knee joint. So what are the common joints? Sir, doctor, only arthritis affects the knee? No. Why knee is affected is, knee joint is first affected. Next will be the hip and foot, because all these bones are weight bearing bones. So the stress amount of load to these bones will be more. Rarely the osteoarthritis can happen in the finger bones also. So the commonly affected joints of osteoarthritis is knee joint, followed by hip joint, then will be foot and ankle joint, because all these are weight bearing bones, right? Next. So doctor, you told me obesity, doctor. How to find out what is obesity, doctor? Obesity is nothing but increased body mass index. Sir, doctor, don't complicate things, doctor, if you tell. How to find whether you are in normal BMI? This is the first thing which any doctor, you go with an arthritis problem, he will tell you, sir, madam, you are very obese, please reduce your weight. Then you can ask, doctor, how do you tell how I am in increased weight, doctor? So this is the calculation which we do. The weight should be taken in kilograms. It should be divided, and it should be divided by height in meters, the whole square. Just I'll show you an example. So the weight for me, if you, for example, is 75 kilograms, and height of my height is 150 centimeter, that is 1.5 meters. So how to calculate is 75 divided by 1.5 centimeter into 1.5 centimeter, that is 2.25 centimeter, is equal to 33.33 units, right? So I think this calculation is clear. Now, if my calculation, this calculation number comes between 18.5 to 24.9, then my body mass index is normal. That is green signal. If my body mass index is between 25 to 30, then it is overweight. That is a alarming signal or a warning to you. Please don't overload your knee joint or overload your body. Third, if my body mass index is more than 30, this you can easily do by yourself. So this will be a calculator for yourself, or a aim for you to control and reduce to prevent the arthritis. So more than 30, then you are coming under the category of high risk. So this is the common myth or common thing which a doctor or anybody tells, madam, you are overweight, or sir, you are overweight. So this helps you whether you are overweight or underweight. You can itself calculate by yourself. Next, doctor, what is this alignment, doctor? What do you tell alignment, doctor? So just see the right side image. That is, I have taken a photo of one person with a deformity and straight. So the right corner image, rightmost corner image, if you just draw a line where you can see a line drawn there. If I draw a line from the hip joint to the knee and the ankle, this line will be going through the center, where I am showing here as a normal, right? In this left corner, you can see this as normal. If I draw, this is called a special X-ray, or it can be taken in a photograph itself. A line is drawn from the hip. It cuts through the knee center and through the ankle center. This is called the normal alignment. If the same line in the next image, if you see, there is a mild bowing of both the legs. Can you see that? You appreciate, I think. So when I draw a line from the hip joint to the ankle joint, it doesn't cut the knee joint, because the knee is going in for a bowing. This is called a varus deformity, but no need to go in for that much. You can just understand it is a bowing deformity. It's like a bow. So this is not good for you. This deformity has to be corrected. Why? What has to be done? We will go next. So this right side patient is normal, and left side patient, which is going for a bowing deformity, is developing some bony deformity, which has to be addressed. Next, common patient presentation to me, commonly which I see in OP, is knee will be spared, but the patient, if you just ask the patient to stand back and draw a line, normally the right corner image you can see, right? When you draw a line like this from the heel to the calcaneum, this is called lower part. From the upper part to lower part, it will be a straight line. But when there is a foot deformity, most of the patient with arthritis, if you just see, you ask somebody to take a photo of your leg, stand back and ask them to take a photo, your foot will be going into this deformity. Because of the foot going into a valgus, this is called valgus deformity, the knee joint will be developing a varus to compensate it. So the deformity, primary deformity, will be in the foot, but this will cause an arthritis in the knee joint. These two things can be commonly seen in your day-to-day presentation. Why I'm telling you this? because these are the things which you can itself know, diagnose that whether you're having arthritis, and you have to meet a doctor accordingly. So these are the stages. First will be the clinical, how it is present, and down will be the x-rays. In stage 0, the knee joint gap will be normal. In stage 1, there will be a mild reduction, which is not much appreciable. In stage 2, you can see inside, there will be a small breaks in the stage 2 is in second image up. So there will be a small breaks in the articular cartilage. In the X-ray, there will be a mild joint space narrowing and small osteophytes. That small bones grown will be seen. In third stage, there will be a more amount of joint space narrowing will be present, and there will be a small breaks in the articular cartilage where there will be reduction of joint space. And in the fourth stage, you can appreciate it. It is completely red. That is because of the inflammation. The articular cartilage is completely damaged. The bone is sitting one over the other. And in the X-ray also, you can see the bone is, there is no joint space at all. This is called kissing sign. One bone sits one over the other, and the bone is going in for a mild curved arthritis. Doctor, now we have told everything, explained to us about the X-ray, everything. So I need some treatment for it. What has to be done? In stage 1, that is clinically, how do you present? I've told mainly when you climb stairs or sit in the cross leg for a long time, you will be complaining of pain. But normally walking for 5 to 6 meters in a level ground, you will not have much of a problem. While climbing stairs, sitting cross leg, or when you sit in the chair for 3 to 2 hours in a movie theater and get up from sitting position, you will have pain. For these patients, first we have to educate them, give them confidence. This is not a very worrisome problem. You have to do some exercises and some medication will be given. It can be taken care of. And what will be the treatment is, as I already told you, will be weight loss. This can be done with exercises and with healthy diet. Next, physiotherapy. Physiotherapy is one of the mantras or one of the cheapest and best modality to be given for arthritis. And we'll be explaining about the best person to be explaining about will be both the ma'am Vijay ma'am and Dr. Sunanta to explain about it. And lifestyle modification like prevent. I will not tell the elderly people will ask us, sir, I should not sit down at all in the floor. I should not do anything. It is depending upon your threshold. Some people will have pain, most probably while sitting more for longer time. So these patients, we ask them not to sit in the floor. You should understand your condition is due to age, this has happened. And once you strengthen your muscles and proper medication is given, you can start jogging or you can start carrying out your older activities. So sometimes we give analgesics, oral analgesics or topical. Some people will tell, sir, we have kidney problem, or we'll have gastritis problem. For these people, we can give topical sprays or topical gels. And what is the medication to be given for this cartilage damage? To prevent cartilage damage is newer drugs called type 2 collagens, hyaluronic acid. I've told that jelly form, right? We can give in form of tablets, and glucosamine and chondroitin sulfate. Some patients can be given this knee brace. This is called knee cap. And most of the patients will have a knee cap without that center hole. You can see in this image, right? Center hole is present. Please ask if you are having knee pain due to arthritis. Please ask for a center hole kneecap. You mostly will wear a kneecap which there is no center hole kneecap. Those type of kneecaps is worn mostly by the sports athletes like kabaddi players or them for giving support. If you wear a kneecap without that center hole, it will be more compressing the patella, that is the small bone over the knee joint, and causing more damage. So if you're going to, you can definitely wear a knee brace. It also has a good advantage for early stage, but ask them with a good center hole. Centrally, there should be a small hole. And we already know the bone should also be strong. So we need a calcium and vitamin D and a healthy diet for your calcium and cartilage depletion diet can be taken. So next stage, what is the next stage, doctor? Next stage will be patients, even if they walk for a kilometer of 1 kilometer, they will develop pain. For a climbing stairs of just 10 stairs, if you climb also, you will develop pain. So these patients will come under the classification of stage 2. You will have good movements, but it will be painful. So these patients, when do you go to the next? What is the next treatment modality, doctor? Like I told in the previous stage 1, we do the same treatment, but we gave the same treatment without any injections before going in for any invasive procedure like small injections or anything. We wait for a period of minimum 2 to 3 months. you have to follow how we give you advice. The patient is the best doctor. You are the best doctor to carry out the orders and these guidances to prevent to go into next stages. So what are the next modalities it can be given? You can see here, knee brace itself, there is an offloading brace. This deformity can be corrected using this offloading brace. And this down image you can see, I told you, right? The foot going into a small valgus deformity, other foot will be bent. For that, you can give foot orthosis. The footwear should be custom made footwear should be patient should wear both inside the house and outside the house. The patient should wear slippers. And what is the next modality? Sometimes if the alter even after 3 months, the patient after giving this footwear change, knee brace, medication is not having much improvement, then we will go in for some minimal invasive procedures like ultrasound. Sorry, ultrasound guided platelet rich plasma injections or hyaluronic acid injections. Can we move on, ma'am?
Yes, sir, you can.
You can. Do any of you have any doubts? Can you just stop or break me? So next, coming on to, we have completed stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 3, the patient will have a deformity. Stage 3, most of the patient will have a deformity where the patient to stand for more than half an hour while cooking or while performing small activities or just going in car and coming back itself, there will be more pain. So these patients will be developing a stage of deformity where you can see here the bone is completely deformed. The left image you can see the bone will start bending because the articular cartilage becomes weak. So in this stage, most of the patients, even if it's going to be a surgery for me, I'll definitely not accept. So again, I'll go for these patients for a minimum period of 3 months. All the above said treatment like lifestyle modification, the cartilage protecting drugs, physiotherapy exercises, and braces. After 3 months, there is not much of improvement. I'll definitely advise the patient, sir, we have given the best treatment and we have waited for a long period. So the next will be to correct the deformity, because once the deformity has happened, it will not correct on its own unless we do some mechanical intervention. So during this stage, I have shown you an X-ray of a surgery which we did last time. So where the bone has gone in for deformity, we have made a small cut. This yellow line is the cut in the bone, and I have just cut and expand, turn the bone and made the bone straight. The bent bone, I have made a cut and I have straightened the bone. Into the gap, I have packed a bone graft, which I take it from other part of the body, and I put a plate in that area. So now the bent deformity has been corrected. So this is then stage 3, when there is not much of articular cartilage damage. I advise for this osteotomy and deformity correction. Sometimes we might need to do another procedure. So osteotomy is first in surgery. Next will be arthroscopy. Arthroscopy is nothing but putting a camera inside the knee joint and checking the visualization of the inside the knee joint, how the situation is. If any small bones have grown, we just do a removal of the loose bodies and that bones will be removed and new bones can be imprinted. This is the second surgical modality which we commonly do. First will be deformity correction and osteotomy. Second will be an arthroscopy and visualize the amount of knee damage that has happened. Third, once the articular cartilage is completely damaged, only one side of the articular cartilage, the knee has two sides. The knee has two sides. Only one side of the articular cartilage is damaged. In that case, we might do a unicompartmental knee replacement. Here you can see the metal placement over here. Only one side of the knee joint has been replaced. This is called a unicompartmental knee replacement. Next, this is the most worsened stage. You can see here, the bone is sitting one over the other. Knee joint is completely into a varus deformity, that is bent deformity. In this stage, whatever medical management or small injections I give into the knee joint, it's going to just delay the time being, but it's not going to be a complete resolvement for this procedure. So in this stage, the only treatment modality we have to advise for the patient's best, because to carry out his day-to-day activity, will be to do a joint replacement. So you can see a clinical presentation here. When the articular cartilage is completely damaged and gone in for an unrepairable stage, we advised for a total knee replacement. So this is how a knee replacement. You can ask, sir, what is there are problems with surgical management also, but we have to weigh and see whether it is good for the patient or bad for the patient. And if the patient is not able to walk or is going to be bedridden, then definitely we have to take chance and go in for a surgery. But it will be the last modality. After a period of 3 to 6 months only, we have to go in for a surgical management. So what is the take-home message for you from this presentation? I think sometimes some things might be a little more new for you. Some things might be unneeded for you. But final take-home message is be for all the mothers and for all the ladies over here, please spend at least 1 hour for yourself every day and make sure that you spend that exercise, proper exercises and proper health, proper diet is taken for you so that you have a very long life to take care of your family again. And second will be, as I already started my presentation with, prevention is always better than cure. Some of the home remedies which patients ask me, what can I do, doctor, other than medication? You can take garlic, pepper, turmeric in food. This is not, so doctor has told, I'll take 5 or 10 garlics every day. No, you have to take just 2 or 3 garlics every day. A little turmeric can be added in your food. All these properties have shown to have anti-inflammatory properties. Some patients may have a mild knee pain. For them, we asked to give heat the gingerly oil mildly and add some rock salt and gently apply to it. And the next fourth important aspect will be how your muscles play an important part in this, which will be covered by my following speakers. I thank all of you for very frankly listening to my talk, and I thank you again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. That was a really detailed presentation. Sir, can you just stop the screen sharing, sir?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. Before we proceed to the questions and others, let's have a quick, presentation from our end. Yeah, you can see the presentation, right, Vijay?
Yes, Ananda. Yeah, we have heard about like very good, beautiful presentation from Dr. Subramania Gandhi, and the beautiful video he explained very nicely, and we could easily understand about what are all the changes happening inside our knee joint. On seeing the video, it is visible how the changes are happening while the arthritis are getting worse, right? So here we are going to see the physiotherapy part. So how exercises are when doctor said physiotherapy is one of the key to maintain or to prevent the arthritis. So here now we are going to see how we are how the exercises are going to help us. Next slide, Ananda. So exercises and arthritis, right? So here, Sunanda, go to the first slide. So physical activity is the best non-drug treatment for improving pain and function in osteoarthritis, right? So we should not reduce our physical activity, and engaging in moderate physical activity 3 times each week, okay? It is 3 times in each week can reduce the risk of arthritis related disability by 47%. This is a proven study actually. And World Health Organization also, what it is saying is, exercises is very, very important. And 150 minutes of exercises is important for everyone who is above 60 years of age. right? It is including, it is not only the specific activity, it is including the aerobic activity and the strengthening activities and exercises to improve your balance, right? So this is the common one, like when we are saying about the physical activity, right? So when coming to the osteoarthritis, there is specific set of activities for osteoarthritis. And there are many levels of exercises. We will discuss about that little later. So when we are talking about this physical activity and exercises, not only in the knee joint, right? The osteoarthritis is commonly affecting the knee joint. So we are talking about mostly about knee joint today. But like when we are getting aged, especially today, this is about now we are having the senior group who are all over 55 plus years seniors. We are having now here. So for everyone, not only the knee joint, for whole body, there are age-related changes happening in the body. So how we are going to face it? How we are going to face the aging, right? So for that, the physical activity is very, very important. So here they are saying we can note the word that moderate physical activity. As we said, in the beginning, whatever we are doing, the household activities inside the home or just a relaxed walk outside will not be covered under physical activity. When we say physical activity, it is a moderate activity. That is, when you do it continuously for around 10 minutes, you should feel, something pumping up like that, some feel, the feel you should get. That is the increase in the heart rate, a little sweat. Then only it means that you are doing some physical activity. So like that activity we need to do, age is not a bar for doing exercises, especially after 55 years. We should do exercises to maintain our muscle strength and bone strength, for each and every system of the body. On having this in the mind, actually, as we explained in the beginning, actually, we are doing an online fitness program for seniors. So on having, these all in the mind, actually, we designed this program exclusively for seniors. It is, one of a kind in India, maybe we can tell. There is no specific program for seniors around us still. Right now, we are doing this program only for the seniors, exclusively designed for senior citizens. So in this, what we are doing is, not only the exercise for, specific joints, we are trying to cover up all the parts of the body and all the systems of the body, like breathing exercises for lung, aerobic exercises for, to improve the cardiac activity, like that. We are covering up everything. We will see that little later. The next slide, Sunanda. Over to you.
Okay. Okay, next we will look into the benefits of exercises in arthritis. While we all know arthritis is one common problem in every household, the exercise plays a much more important role in the management of arthritis. It keeps the disease under control. When the disease is under control, it means you will be able to lead a problem-free life. So it is very important that we incorporate exercise, all types of exercises, to keep the knee joint supple, so that it doesn't get restricted. Now I have listed a few benefits of exercises. One is strengthens the muscles and bones. When you do an exercise, the muscle and the bones of the human body get stronger. Okay, so what happens? Say if I am 100 kgs of weight. When I am standing, I transmit all the 100 kg of my weight to my spine as well, my knee joint and my ankle. So that is why, as doctor had mentioned, these are the regions that go for a degeneration earlier. Okay, now what happens when we strengthen the muscles around the joints? That is, it may be the back muscles, it could be as far as arthritis is concerned, we strengthen the hamstrings, quadriceps, and a little bit of calf muscle as well. When we strengthen these muscles, what happens is the muscles take a little load. So what, instead of the 100 kg that is being transmitted to the knee joint, it will be 60 kg. So when it is, it's just a rough factor for you to understand. So when that weight, the transmission is reduced, it means less stress on the joints, and hence the progression of arthritis can be curbed. Similarly, making the bones strong also helps in the bones also take up the weight and reduces the transmission to the joints. Okay, the next exercise aids joint lubrication and nourishment. So as we have seen in the video, the knee joint is a, what we call it as a hinge joint. So what is a hinge joint? It's something like, a door. You open and close the door, and for the closing and the opening of the door, you need something smooth happening inside. So that is why we put a grease or something, right? So similarly, we have the fluids and the articular cartilage in our knee joint. So this, by doing exercises, it aids the joint lubrication. So what actually happens, when you're not using the door for a long time, it gets jammed, right? So why does it get jammed? Because of the no movement happening, because of which it gets jammed. So similarly, joint lubrication will help us, keeping the joint supple and the joint range of motion in control. The next most common problem that people with arthritis have is eases your joint pain. So when the fluid, that is the fluid that I was talking about, keeps moving in and out, it actually eases your pain. Similarly, when the muscles are strong, it takes up some of the load and eases the joint pain. Next, improving the flexibility. So as doctor was mentioning, most of what happens is like when you sleep for some time and you get up, there is a morning stiffness, which is the most common complaint. So why is that morning stiffness happening? When the joint is in the same position for a long time, it goes for a stiffness. So how do we break the stiffness? It is with movement. So movement is very, very important to keep yourself flexible and keep your joints in action. Next is about improving the balance. So what happens? Fall. Fall is the most frequent problem, leading to very major issues amongst the elderly, right? So this, to keep the fall under control, what has to happen is you have to have a better balance. So what would happen when your knee is in pain? So when you suddenly put your knee on the ground and you're not able to take weight, it buckles. When it buckles, we tend to fall down. Correct? So that is why when we do the exercises, it improves the knee strength and thus it improves the balance. And when the balance is improved, it can help in preventing yourself from a fall. The next is slows the progress of the disease. So the disease, yes, we know it has a progressive graph. But can we keep it under control? Yes, we can keep it under control. And one important way is definitely exercise. It keeps the disease from progressing. Instead of a straight slope, we can slow it down. And when the disease slows down, it can delay or sometimes even prevent surgeries. So keeping all these factors in mind, so we have our program in which we do strengthening exercises, which strengthens the muscle. We do exercises to strengthen the bones. All the weight bearing activities actually strengthen the bones, right? And also to improve the flexibility, we do a lot of stretching exercises for our clients. So again, this is not, in our session, we don't restrict only to the knee joint. We try to make the overall body well and keeping a holistic fitness in mind. And we have specific balance exercises which work on the central nervous system and our brain and the spinal cord, helping us to coordinate better and having the balance better. So our main idea about the program is to lead a pain-free, healthy life. And as doctor was previously mentioning time and again, prevention is the best cure. There is, so that is why this program is designed. And more than prevention, so maybe some of you would have already got it, we would have ignored it and all that. It is very important that we actually have to maintain it as well. So this maintenance also is very important so that the disease does not progress and we live a healthy and an independent life. So to us, it is very, very important to make the process of aging a very graceful one. While aging is inevitable, we can definitely make it very, very graceful. Now over to Vijay.
Next slide, Sunanda.
Okay, so the next question comes, should we exercise
Change the
or
spotlight. Yeah.
should we exercise or not exercise? So we have a lot of clients with us today who has joined us. So this comes as a very important question to many of them. So I have arthritis, I have pain. Should I stop exercising? The answer to this question would be no. You don't have to stop exercising. So just because one part of the human body is affected, do we have to stop the action in every other part? No. So we need to exercise to keep ourselves fit. And as far as the knee is concerned, as we have already told, exercise can actually improve your knee problem as well. The only thing is you will have to exercise the right way. It's a balance that we have to understand. On one side, there is always a questions amongst the seniors like, as I keep doing movement, am I not damaging my joint? So that is one side. The other side of the coin says that, yeah, with exercise, I'm feeling better, right? So actually speaking, while, we talk about wear and tear and other things, with regular exercise, it has been scientifically proven that the cartilage, that is the soft tissue, we saw the white thing in the video, right? The white thing, it actually gets better. It can grow better. It nourishes the cartilage. With exercise, the blood flow to that is going to improve, which will help your knee condition as well. The only precaution that we would like to say here is maybe when there is an acute stage, when you have an acute inflammation, when you have swelling, redness, all that happening at the moment, there might be certain exercises which you have to avoid, and slowly you should be able to do the other exercises as well. So we have seen quite a few people, few clients of us. In fact, Lakshmi auntie is there with us today, and we have another ma'am called Rema from Bangalore. She was also advised complete bed rest for some time, and she used to come to us saying like, it's okay if I don't move my knee joint. I just want to move my hands so that my hands are okay, my heart is okay. So for a very long time, for about 15-20 days, all she used to do is only in sitting and not doing any kind of workout with the lower, the legs. And then slowly, as and when she became comfortable, she started moving her legs as well. And now today she is with us, and she, in fact, does an aerobics for 13 minutes, even in standing. So we really are very happy to see it. It really requires a very strong mind, and it is very important that all of you have that strong mind and the strong will to overcome the problem and succeed. Okay, it is definitely possible. There is no doubt. But all that is required from you is a strong will and a strong mind, and we are there to help you. Okay, now over to Vijay.
Yeah, so actually, our take home message here is stay active to lead a pain-free life, right? So for a pain-free life, you should not take rest. You should be active. Stay active, to be pain-free. And only thing is we should know, what are all the exercises we should do when we are having the pain. That is the key, right? All kind of exercises cannot be done while you are having the pain. So actually in exercises, when you see, there are many types of exercises, right? So actually there are few set of exercises which you can do when you have pain also. Okay, so for osteoarthritis knee, there is exercise called isometric exercises we can practice while you are having the pain also. So that will improve your bone strength and muscle strength. That will help you to reduce the pain actually. So the important thing is we should do exercises under the right guidance. You should learn the exercises from the correct professional and then practice it. Okay, don't just follow any exercises from just, from by Googling it or from the YouTube video or from the social media, because there are many, it is available. Many videos are available now, but, just don't do it, on seeing that, because there is a, way to do it. How we are doing exercises is very, very important. Okay, for osteoarthritis knee or any other exercises, while you are doing it, you should do it in the right way. Learn from the correct professional and do it in a right way. Okay, so in this, actually, we can see, range of motion, stretching, muscle strengthening, aerobic exercise, and recreation. So this is the pyramid we are seeing here to stay active and healthy and to lead a pain-free life, right? So in our program, as we said, the online senior citizen fitness program, actually we are, following all these exercises. We are doing stretching exercises to improve the range of motion, and we are doing the strengthening exercises, various kind of strengthening exercises. It is like, for knee strengthening, neck strengthening, core strengthening. There are many clients here, our clients here in our webinar today, who are already attending our program. They know about, our program and how we are doing and what we are doing. There are few people today from outside. For them, we are telling this here. So we are doing exercises to improve the balance, to improve the coordination, and we are doing the aerobic exercises to improve the, cardiac capacity. So these are all included and well designed. And in the month beginning itself, we are designing it as, one particular client will be covered with all the exercises, all the systems will be covered. We are taking care like that when we are scheduling the exercises. And we are making, sometimes we are making it in a fun way too, by using some props. We are using the stick to do the exercises, and it should not be boring, right? While you are doing the exercises, when we are doing something routinely, right, again and again, when we are repeating it, it will be, it's going to be boring. We know that, especially in this age. So we want to give more varieties and, different set of activities with different props. I think we are doing our best. I think our clients who are all here, you should say about us. So that's about our program. Next slide, Nanda. Who are all new here today, apart from our clients, you can book a free trial with us to attend the our one of the session. As a trial, you can take a free trial, just to experience the program, how we are doing it and what we are doing it. Santoshi auntie is here. She will share her experience with us now. After that, we will see about, the specific exercises for arthritis.
I am Santoshi Janardhan. I joined this growing in
just a second, auntie, just a second. Please spotlight her, Sunanda. Yes, auntie.
Yeah, I'm Santoshi Janardhan. Hi to everybody. I joined this growing exercise program about 8-9 months back. I'm so happy I don't miss even one session. And the way Sunanda and Vijay are conducting this program is fabulous. Really, I should say it's fabulous, because they monitor each and everything and they correct there and there. And it is, as they said, it is a holistic program. They just cover everything: breathing, coordination, upper limb, lower limb, breathing exercise, everything, aerobics, brain exercise, eye exercise, everything. They do everything in a pakka professional way. That's the biggest thing. Very, very professional. I'm really very happy. It improved my flexibility very much, I should say that. And here and there, some aches and pains will be there. Now everything is fine by God's grace, touch wood. So I'm really very happy. I would definitely recommend to people. And really, really very happy. Really, as your name goes, I really feel mentally, physically growing young every day. I'm not aging at all. So I'm very happy. Continue your great work. I wish you all the success. I wish you all the very best. I'm very happy about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Auntie, for your
Thank you very
kind
much,
words.
Auntie.
Okay. So before the question session, we will do a little exercise demo for all of you. Okay. So exercises for arthritis of knee, there are different types. So I'm going to show you two different types. One is what is called the isometric exercise. So the word isometric means the muscle is going to act while there is not going to be any kind of a movement. So this kind of exercise actually is very suitable even if you have an acute knee pain. So you can do it anytime, whether you have the pain is, right now we have a swelling, or you had, pain some 10 days back, or whatever it is, you can definitely practice this set of isometric exercises on an everyday basis once you know that you have arthritis. So by strengthening the muscles around the knee joint, as we told earlier, it is going to reduce the load on the knee joint and it will help you overcome the pain. Okay, I'll just show a few exercises to you here. The first and the foremost, so I'm going to show it in the sitting position. So you can all actually do it either in lying position or sitting in the cot. So make sure your back is well supported. And here is a small roll. So this roll is about the size of my fist. Okay, this roll is about my size of the fist. It is not too big. It is just the size of my fist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it under my knee. So just below my knee joint. So after keeping here, I'm just going to give a gentle pressure down. And when I'm giving the pressure, I feel tightness in the front of the thigh. This muscle is called the quadriceps. So here you can just press and feel the tightness. After that, you hold for 5 counts and then relax. Okay. So, and the most important thing when you're doing an isometric exercise is you should not be holding your breath. Keep breathing. So there is no need for you to keep the breath under control. The breath can be completely normal and just keep breathing. If you feel that you're not breathing, then you can just start counting aloud. Okay, this is most simple and the easiest exercise that anybody can do at any stage of the disease, and it will help you immensely. Okay, as I told you, I'm just placing the roll under my knee joint and I'm pressing it to feel the tightness in my thigh here. Hold it for 5 counts and then relax. And the other most important thing is the common mistake that we have seen our clients do is sometimes when you lie down, you will see a pressure coming up in the back. So when you're doing that, it means you're not doing the exercise properly. Okay, the focus should be the knee joint and you should feel the tightness only in the front of the thigh. So this exercise, so how frequently can I do it? How much should I hold it? So ideally what we say is you can repeat this 10 times and maybe to initially begin with, hold it for 5 counts. And after a few days, when you become a little comfortable, you can increase it to 8 counts and then you can reach 10 counts. So in a day, you can do 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening. So to strengthen your knee joint. So this is an isometric exercise. And as I told you, it is absolutely safe for you to do in any stage of the disease. Okay. So the next one. So as the doctor was also saying, so there are multiple, we have to strengthen the hip muscles, leg, everything to keep the knee joint supple. So the second exercise, what you can do is keep a cushion between the legs. Okay. And press. So it is like as if you are not going to let go of the cushion. Hold it for 5 counts and then relax. Okay. So just you can do this in sitting position or you can do this in lying down on the bed also. So just keep the cushion between your legs. So my legs are at, like an L shape. Now just press and hold as tightly as possible for 5 counts to begin with, and slowly you can increase it to 8 and then later 10 counts. Hold it for 5 counts and then relax. So when you do this, you will feel a good tightness on the inner aspect of the thigh. So the thigh, the quad, that is the top thigh muscle, has different, fibers. So we'll have to strengthen on all sides, and this will help you do the inner side. So as alternatively, as I told you, you can either do it in sitting, or you can just lie down, keep the knee straight and keep the cushion in between your legs and then press. So that is an alternative form of exercising. Okay. So as I told you, these are some of the isometric exercises which you can do it anytime at any stage of the problem. The next type of exercises that we are saying is what is called as a range of motion exercise. So as far as the knee is concerned, there are two major movements. One is the knee bending behind, the other is knee getting stretched. So these movements, what happen is, if you are not concentrating or focusing on a complete range, over a period of time, the reduction happens, right? So probably, I will not be, a few cannot bend beyond this, a few cannot bend beyond this. So what happens, you will have difficulty while climbing the stairs. So when you climb the stairs, you need a specific range to climb. If it is less, you will not be able to take one step at a time. So when the range is reduced, what will happen? You will start holding the rail and take one step, and then the other leg joins, and then you take the other and then joins. You will not be able to go this way, right? So that is the other movement. So we have to focus on the range of motion. So we have to, once we know that arthritis is there, we have to ensure that our joints are kept supple and the range of motion is continuously there. So one, how do we do this range of motion? One, so there are two major movements as I was telling. One, just sit and stretch your leg up. So this will strengthen, also make your knee joint straight. Okay, so at the early stage itself, we try to force the knee joint into a proper knee extension. The range will be maintained. So this is the movement. So do it slowly and gently. It is not a fast movement. When you do a fast movement, the knee can get injured. So do it slowly and gently. So this is one movement. The second movement is just, you can probably just stand up, take the support of the chair and bend your leg behind like this. This will also help in keeping the knee joint movement in check. Other way, you can also lie down on the bed and just do the movement of bending and sliding movement can happen, which will keep the knee joint supple. Okay. So as I told you, the range of motion exercise, we'll have to assess you and see if you are okay enough to do it. Sometimes when there is an acute swelling and pain, we have to understand that the knee needs some rest and maybe you should not be forcing too much of a movement. But once the pain comes down, you can definitely, these are non-weight bearing. So if you see, when I'm not putting my weight on the leg. So it is definitely safe, but not to be done when you have a severe pain and there is a severe restriction. Okay, and severe swelling, redness, all these features are there. You can avoid it for some time until you feel a little comfortable. Okay, now over to Vijay. Vijay will show another few types of exercises.
So as Sunanda said, there are different kind of activities, right? So the isometric exercises and the range of motion exercises we have seen now, right? Sorry, actually already it's going to be 7 o'clock. We were in the plan to show more exercises today, but as we have very little time, we are just showing the sample in in each type of exercises. Just we are showing few samples of that. So the next type is, so the isometric exercises and the range of motion exercises, you can do when you have pain also, right? But the next one, what we are going to see is, this is coming under strengthening. After doing those exercises, once you are, fair enough to move on, then we will move on to the self-strengthening exercises by using our own body weight. First, we do with own body weight. And after that, we will use the external weight and do the weight exercises. That is called weight training, right? So I will show first, how we can do the exercises using our own body weight. Okay, so the first exercises, what we can do is just, stand and have the chair in front of you and take your right leg forward. Okay, and like we are holding the chair here and leaning our body on the chair little bit like this. Okay, so why we are having the chair here and leaning is depending on your knee health. Okay, if you are having more pain, you should not transfer more weight on your knee while bending the knee. Okay, so the hand here in the chair, like according to your knee health, you can transfer the weight that much in your knee and bend your knee, and the remaining weight will be transferred to the chair. How we can know what is the right amount of weight to transfer? While you are bending your knee, it should not be paining. Okay, you should bend in your pain-free range. If you feel like you are having the pain, the extra weight should be transferred to the chair and bend and feel the weight in your leg and just be there for 5 seconds and then come back. Maybe initially you can just do the movement, and after that we can hold it for 3 seconds, and after that we can hold it for 5 seconds. So slowly we can increase the repetition and increase the holding time also. Okay, and another one is wall squatting. Okay, while we are doing this squatting, what will happen? We are transferring more weight on our knees, right? So initially when we start with, we can do the wall squatting. Okay, so you can stand on the wall and you can place the hand on the wall. So the wall will be supported. So you can place a ball just in your lower back, and you can just stand in the wall and have a hand in the front and just go down. The ball will roll up and then you can come up. Just go down and then come up. This one, when you are doing this, if you have pain, you can have the hand in the wall initially and just do it, and then you can go to the other stage. Okay, so these are all the samples of exercises we are doing using our own body weight. And the next type, what we can do is, we can use the weight cuff. Okay, the half kg weight cuff, you can, like this is called weight cuff. Each one is half kg. You can get it, anywhere. So what we can do is, we can just tie around in your ankle like this. And just a simple movement we start with, just in a sitting position, you can just sit and you can just raise your leg up and down. Okay, initially you can start with just a movement, and after that you can just raise it up and you can hold it for 3 counts and then down, and after that slowly you can progress to 5 counts and then down. And the repetition also, as I said, slowly we have to increase the repetition and the holding time. Both we can increase gradually according to your knee health. Okay, so there are many exercises using the weight cuff for the knee also. Actually, we can do this, and we can do the knee flexion, and in the standing also we can do many exercises. The only suggestion from us is, please learn the exercises from the correct guidance and do it in a right way, because we should not injure ourselves by doing exercises in a wrong way. Okay, thank you for joining us today. Now maybe we can go to the question session. You can ask questions to Dr. Subramania Gandhi if you have any questions.
So the doctor is there. If you raise your hands, you can ask. Heather ma'am, yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
I have a problem on my toe, severe arthritis of the toe, not at the knee joint so much. So what do I do for that exercise? What exercise or?
Sir, you're on mute, sir.
Yeah, sorry. So good evening, ma'am. Your main problem is in the
Sister Heather, I have severe arthritis of the big toe.
big toe. Okay.
Big toe.
So for how many duration do you have this problem, ma'am?
It is for quite some time, which I discovered only recently when I went to the orthopedic.
Okay. So any of your bones are little deformed, ma'am, compared to the opposite side.
The toe is distinguished slightly, and there is a swelling and hardness under the foot.
So only your great toe is involved. Other joints are all not pain-free.
Now the other second toe started the next to the big toe. No? The next toe started getting affected, and it's very painful.
Painful.
Very tender the moment something touches.
The orthopedician or any doctor, did they ask you to do any blood test, ma'am?
He didn't ask for any blood test. He took an X-ray and he said severe arthritis, and he was going to put me on anti-inflammatory, but allergic drugs, so I did not.
Okay. So the common problem with that great toe swelling or great toe pain with deformity is called gout. Common presentation is gout more commonly. So without medication, what can you treat? If you ask me, I will ask you to reduce your protein intake. The gout presentation is mostly due to the protein increase of like dal or sprouts or any eggs or anything. If you take whatever in the form of protein is taken, they get deposited in the toes or any joints. It is a metabolism which has gone into a problem, causing deposition of them into the uric acid, deposition of them in the toes. So I will just ask you, before taking any medication, do a routine blood test, that is common blood tone, CBC and uric acid. We will check the uric acid levels. If they are very high, then I'll advise you to take some medication. If you are hesitant to take medication, then the better modality will be to control your protein intake in food. We have to, depending upon the serum uric acid level, we have to treat you, ma'am.
Okay, doctor. Contact number will be there, no? Once I do the test, maybe I'll get in touch with you.
Definitely. Because we'll have a clear idea whether it is due to uric gout or mild arthritic problem. What is the diagnosis first, and then treat accordingly.
Okay, doctor.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. We have Dr. Shubha with us. She's a gynecologist from Mumbai. She has a question for you, doctor.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, doctor.
Hello, ma'am.
I'm Dr. Shubha Dukle here. I want to ask you certain things. I had a COVID in last October and November, but since then, what happened? It was a severe COVID. I required lots of steroid, monoclonal antibodies, everything. But after that, I started getting a lots of muscle and joint problem. Actually, I had a lots of muscle wasting. It was a severe, like my physiotherapist, she identified that there are almost no muscle, like that state I had gone through. I'm working out with them almost for 7 months now. But comparatively, what I exercise, I'm not getting a muscle gain. I have a good protein intake. Actually, previous to that, I was a vegan, but I stopped all that. I went on a egg and fish protein after post-COVID, so that I developed muscle, because muscles were not getting developed. Can you suggest something for that? I had a sort of a frozen shoulder, meaning I didn't allow it to freeze. I'm exercising, but the pains are there, like ligament pains, the cartilage pains are there. Sometimes a small joint, uric acid is clear, everything is clear. Actually, I prepared antibodies for thyroid. Muscles and all I have not worked out. Like if I get it also, I can't do anything about it. RA, uric acid, everything is negative. Means HLB27, everything I have done.
Sorry, yes, ma'am. So the shoulder pain is mainly in a particular single shoulder, or both the shoulders pain is present, ma'am?
Actually, now it has become more in the left, but both the shoulders were paining. The movement got restricted. Otherwise, I'm used to do a namaskar behind, but I'm not able to now. My routine is not affected because I kept it moving, but it's painful. And usually the pain is in the night. When I get up early in the morning, I'm uneasy, and I hate that morning uneasy.
So the problem might be most, as you diagnosed correctly, the frozen shoulder is a problem which happens over time. It is
Yeah.
like how arthritis happens. This frozen shoulder is also due to the age, wear and tear which you have taken early years. So the resolving time normally, which we ask the patients, is to around 6 months, minimum 6 months it will take for you to completely get back to normal activity if you are performing the proper stretching and shoulder strengthening exercises.
I'm doing it, but I'm not able to. It's more than now I would say a year.
When the problem is particularly in the bone, the chance of healing is better. When the muscles get contracted, as in frozen shoulder, the rotatory cuff muscles, entire muscle will get restricting the movements alone to be happening.
Yeah.
So the treatment modality for that, some people, if there is no, after even 1 year, if you are not having much of a complete free range of movements.
No, the range of movement means I cannot go behind. My range of movement, I kept most of it intact. But you know, the previously I would do a namaskar from behind and all that I cannot do now. But the main thing is that early morning unease, like when I'm getting up now, I'm frozen and painful over here. Like it's not very nice. Neck, shoulder.
Why you have early mornings, ma'am? During the mornings, you frequently keep moving your shoulders. Some activity will be there, and your muscles will be very concentrated on preventing the pain aspects. But when you sleep I think mostly in the night also, do you have some disturbed sleep?
Yeah, because of pain. I get up sometimes because of
sometimes. So if the modality of treatment will be, sometimes we do a mild procedure called PRP or needling can be done. But in your case, 80 to 90% you are doing well, but the backside, touching your back is a little difficult for you. So I'll advise to more concentrate on the scapula, that is back muscle strengthening exercises, to be more specific about. If possible, to have a personal physiotherapist for a period of 10 days to 2 weeks to specifically concentrate on the muscles. Because unless you have a personalized or a regular follow-up of at least 30 minutes to be concentrated, it is very difficult for that to get complete recovery.
Yeah, that is the one thing. Basically, I'm not able to develop a muscle. Can you suggest something for that? I'm realizing it. The amount of exercise I'm putting now, compared to like the physiotherapist now who's attached to my hospital, is MPT gold medalist. She comes, she's like a daughter to me. She tells me, madam, you are exercising so heavily. Like she's accepting it, but the muscles are not developing. She'll come and touch my this calf muscle. The left is more weaker than a right. That she knows it. So that is not developing that good, compared to the amount of exercises I'm undergoing.
First of all, 3 things, ma'am. First, I'll ask you or the physiotherapist you're looking into to measure and note down your circumference or the girth of your muscles first. So to know whether you are improving or there is a deterioration of the muscle, that we should know.
It is not deteriorated. She has measured it. It is not deteriorated. It is little better, but according to her, the way I'm exercising for so long, she has seen me exercising. So I should have been much better. It's like even my thyroid developed antibody, which were never there,
Okay. So second, how much exercise you do, whatever you concentrate on exercise, only 30 to 40% is improvement given by the exercise, whatever activity you do. The rest 50 to 60% for muscle development is mainly in the diet what you take. So I would request you to note down the amount of protein. So if your weight is around 60 kgs or 60, we request you to take minimum 1 to 1.5 kg, 1 to 1.5 grams per kg. That is, consider 60 kgs, you should take minimum 75 grams of protein. Because unless you have a good intake of protein, the muscle, whatever your activity will do, it will be more amount of wasting will be present.
I'm diabetic also. What protein you would suggest?
We'll suggest peas protein, ma'am, the plant-based protein. More than whey protein, that is a milk solid protein.
Milk, I cannot tolerate milk. So milk
no need milk. So no need whey protein. Better is to go for a plant-based protein.
Okay.
Sometimes vegan protein or plant-based protein is
Is
available.
there any preparation? Is there any preparation?
I can share you that link, ma'am. That is called green peas is there, right? So
Okay.
from green peas or soya, they extract the protein content.
Yeah.
So, and you can take some protein biscuits, Treptin biscuits.
Which I'm taking.
Yeah. So the minimum intake of protein to expect the recovery, we should have a good protein intake. If even after protein intake and after exercise alone is not the remedy for what is your problem, the good intake is most important than the exercise which you are doing.
Yeah.
And as you told, post-COVID, some of the due to long-term steroid intake and the stoclizumab, this steroid, the other medication taken, it is causing and kind of autoimmune diseases, like you told, AN antibodies for thyroid disorders.
Yeah.
Muscle wasting is a common. So
I needed all that steroid, monoclonal antibodies, everything.
As far as I assessed, I would say she's a fighter, and she really fought COVID. Went to the extremes of COVID and came back. So your fighting spirit is always there, and it's an inspiration to all of us.
Yeah,
okay?
you all are great
as you
help.
keep doing, we are sure you will reach your target.
You all are great help. You all are great help. I always promote you. Whenever it comes to anybody, I say, okay, join them. They are worth it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jayanti Aunty has a question. Jayanti Aunty, you can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jayanti Aunty.
Yes, Dr.
yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Aunty, you are audible. Kelunga.
Okay, I'm a dental surgeon by profession. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
See the same problem which she had, no, I had a left frozen shoulder, which mostly improved after 6 years. I had it for 6 years. The same problem, I cannot reach my back with my left hand. So when they give some exercise to go like this, I cannot go beyond it. So, but I don't mind as long as I can proceed with the practice. But the problem now is, supposing in the sleep, so I go on my right side and sleep like that. There's intensive pain developing here. Today also I had yesterday night, only to see on my right side. I don't know, this hand becomes a little bit cooler or what, I don't know. After 3 or 4 hours, I get up. The intensive pain. Then I apply some cream or anything like that, then it subsides. But it's due to what, I don't know. And the muscles.
Aunty, just to add one thing, I think you had some muscle tear, right? I have seen your report, right? Please add that also.
That's what I was around to tell him. They said there was a tear, and then they said you can get it done with exercise, no need for a surgery and all this. And recently, second problem, when I had my COVID vaccine on April 16th, just half an hour after that, when they told me to get up and you can go, any problem, and they asked me to go. When I got up, this left knee, I had a severe pain. I was even discontinuing this exercise for 2 months. Then now only it is slowly subsiding after six months. Now it's slowly subsiding. Had anyone got this type after the vaccination? I don't know. Only 2 questions about this pain, why it is intense when I get on the right side. And this is subsiding now, but will it be there after vaccination?
Whether the pain in the left hand, is it radiating to your fingers, ma'am? Or
No,
only in the shoulder?
No, like forearm.
Yeah, only in the forearm. So the most probable cause for your problem in the shoulder region might be due to the rotatory cuff, some of the muscles, that might be some tendinitis or a partial tear in the supraspinatus or any of the tendons. The partial tear, if the chance of recovery for a partial tear to 100% is little less. So that might be one of the reasons when you lie down on the opposite side, there might be stretching of that muscles, which involuntary during night time. In the morning time, you will not have much problem because voluntarily you will make in a position which are position of ease. But in the night time, it is not under your control. So you will try to move your limb without your control. So that might be the reason for the problem. And have you taken any MRI or anything, ma'am?
Yeah, I've taken.
Okay.
I've taken MRI and X-ray both. I've taken MRI.
Okay.
That's why there's a tear in the muscles and all this.
The tear in the muscle how many months or years back was the MRI taken, ma'am?
Recently, around 2 or 3 months back.
2 or 3 months back. So what medication wise, what we can give is now you are around, I feel 70 to 80% you are okay. But the 20 to 30% still there is not a complete recovery is not present. That is your problem. So for your stage of problem, what we require is mainly some supplements in the form of collagen or vitamin C tablets for your muscle to wait and watch whether it is completely healing. So or else if there is a complete tear, if you're not able to lift the hand at all, I'd advise you to go in for a small stitching or surgery. But the terminal movements, the terminal movement that is touching in the back is problematic. For that, mainly we might require to give you some supplementation in the form of medication, and an exercise protocol will not much help you because we need to know how it has recovered. The 3 months next, after another 2 or 3 months, we need to do another MRI and compare it, whether there is any improvement or not. Depending upon that only, we can decide what modality of treatment to be given, whether we have to follow the physiotherapy or we have to go into small minimal invasive any procedures are to be done.
Jayanti aunty, you can take an opinion from doctor. He lives in PBV.
Okay.
And
He consults in MMS.
So you can take an opinion from him.
So I think a direct consultation will help.
Clinical examination will be more helpful for me also.
More effective.
That's what. She's also here, so that's why I'm telling.
She's in Porur, so she can definitely come down. Okay, we have a question in the chat box. By Vijay Lakshmi ma'am. Uric acid is high.
So what about protein intake?
Actually, the uric acid, the end product uric acid comes from the amount of protein you take in your food, ma'am. So the protein, whatever you take, breaks and deposits as uric acid. The higher uric acid is because of the increased amount of protein intake. So our basic advice for the patient with high uric acid will be to reduce the protein intake. So we have to know what is the level of the uric acid, whether it is less than 9 or above 9. If it's above 9, definitely I go advise you to take some medication to reduce the uric acid levels like febuxostat or probin acid. If it's less than, if it is between 7 to 8.5 or 9, we can try to do it with a proper dietary intake. If it's less than 7, it is normal. So what is the range of uric acid? Depending upon that, whether medication has to be given or whether in food itself we can control, we should know. So this is the reason behind why protein should be reduced for higher uric acid level.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Anybody have any other question?
One more thing I want to mention here. For a uric acid, my patients have responded very well to the cherries.
Okay.
If they take every day this much cherry, they are painless.
Okay.
So yeah, cherry might also have an antioxidant property like ma'am told.
Yeah. Cherry helps a lot. Cherry and pineapple juice. It means pineapple. These two things have helped them like anything.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Shubha. Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And a special thanks to Dr. Subramania Gandhi, and he presented very well about osteoarthritis knee with a beautiful video, and anyone can understand on seeing that what is arthritis and how it is progressing, and in which stage what we can do. Everything is explained very well by him, and thank you very much once again, Dr. Subramania Gandhi, for your special time to spend here. Thank you very much for this time.
Thank you for spreading more positive vibration to more of the population, ma'am. Hope to see more people next time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us.
Can I ask a question? If I want to consult the doctor, where can I consult him?
Sorry, ma'am.
Hemlata aunty, he is actually, he lives in our apartment, and he is consulting here in MMS Hospital.
And Kanji Kamoti in Pallikarnai.
It comes to Kamakshi, is it Pallikarnai?
Yeah,
Yes.
Kamach Hospital, ma'am.
Okay.
So you can consult him there.
We can share the details so that
Right.
you can get it from him.
Yeah.
We will
Thank
share
you.
the contact details.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Have a happy weekend.
Bye everyone. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. It was very nice.
Keep moving and
Very
keep your joints
informative.
healthy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.